the cars that carried our youth. There are sounds that a lifetime cannot erase. Those sounds don't come from a song, nor from a movie, but from a car starting up in the early morning. Do you remember? The turn of the key, a soft RRR sound, and then the engine roars to life, strong and decisive. That roar doesn't just wake up the road ahead, it awakens our hearts too. Then the smell of gasoline, a faint burnt scent drifting in the breeze. For our generation, that scent was never unpleasant. It was a sign that a journey was about to begin. Back then, a car wasn't just for commuting or taking the kids to school, it was wings. A ticket out of the small town, out of the familiar streets, toward the endless avenues ahead. The car, whether old or new, always carried a promise. That when you held the steering wheel, you could go anywhere. That the road had no limits. And that this youth would last forever. The 60s, 70s, and 80s were the golden era of American steel machines. They were big, powerful, gleaming. Each car carried a personality, a soul, and even a lifestyle. We watched the Ford Mustang race like the wind, carrying a thirst for freedom and rebellion. We saw the Chevy Impala glide slowly through summer sunsets, with rock and roll tunes, with the first handholds of young love. And then, we looked up at the Cadillac, a symbol of luxury, the American dream, the success everyone hoped to reach. Every car tells a story. Every journey is a memory. And today, we travel back in time to relive those years. The years when just turning the key, pressing the gas, and letting the wind blow through your hair opened up a whole sky of youth before your eyes. There are names that, just by mentioning them, an entire generation instantly remembers. Ford Mustang, that name isn't just a car. It's a legend. In 1964, when the Mustang was first introduced, the whole of America seemed to erupt. People lined up outside dealerships, jostling for a chance to see it up close, to touch its gleaming body. Within just a few months, the Mustang became a craze. No one could have imagined that a car could ignite a cultural movement so profoundly. For the youth, the Mustang was more than just a car. It was a one-way ticket to freedom. It was a declaration to the world, I am different. I don't follow the beaten path. I want to live life my own way. Do you remember the first time you sat behind the wheel of a Mustang? What did it feel like? It was a summer afternoon. The dusty red roads of the suburbs. You slowly opened the car door, took a deep breath of the new leather seats, the lingering scent of gasoline. When you turned the key, the engine roared like a wild horse released from its stall. Your heart raced, hands gripping the wheel tightly. You pressed the gas, and in the blink of an eye, everything around you became a gust of wind. The ordinary streets you walked every day suddenly felt longer, wider, more beautiful. Because now, you were no longer standing still, watching the world go by. You were the master of speed. You were leaving tire marks on the road. The Mustang appeared at exactly the moment a whole generation hungered for freedom. The 1960s were a time of change, anti-war movements, rock and roll music, the hippie movement. Young people wanted to break free from rigid rules, to escape the preset paths of their parents. The Mustang became the symbol of that rebellion. No need for a big house, no need for a stable career. Just a Mustang, a few gallons of gas, and the open road, and youth could take flight. When you drove a Mustang, you weren't just driving a car. You were driving the spirit of a generation. Soon, Mustangs appeared everywhere. On music stages, and song lyrics, on the silver screen. Do you remember Steve McQueen in the movie Bullitt? The image of the green Mustang GT speeding through the hills of San Francisco, chasing the bad guys in a heart-pounding pursuit, became iconic. Or the rock songs of the era, the electric guitar ringing out, and the Mustang like a steel melody. It existed in music, in pop culture, in the dreams of every 20-something boy and girl. The Mustang wasn't just driven. It was lived. It was sung. It was shown on the big screen. For many of us, the Mustang was linked to our first trips. Trips to the beach with friends, music blasting, windows down, sea breeze rushing in. Trips along Route 66, stopping at a small roadside diner, ordering a burger and a Coke, then hitting the road again. Sometimes, the Mustang even witnessed love. The front seat saw the first exchanged glances. The back seat held trembling handholds. And even those hurried kisses, amidst the radio music and the ever-present hum of the engine. Those memories, even now, just hearing a Mustang start brings them all rushing back as if it were yesterday. Years have passed. Perhaps today you no longer drive a Mustang. Perhaps that car has been sold, grown old, or sits in someone else's collection. But in memory, the Mustang always shines. Always the untamed wild horse, tied to a youth full of passion. Sometimes, on today's streets, you spot a classic Mustang. And your heart skips a beat. You smile, because in that moment, you see your younger self again. A boy, a girl, hair tousled by the wind, eyes sparkling with hope. The Mustang has crossed generations, yet it keeps its soul intact. The soul of freedom. The soul of youth. The soul of endless roads. The Ford Mustang is not just a car. It is a reminder that we were once young. We once rebelled. And we once believed that the whole world was waiting for us to conquer. If the Mustang is the symbol of freedom and rebellion, then the Chevy Impala is the symbol of closeness, of warm youth, of sweet memories along every avenue. Impala, the name alone evokes a light, graceful image, like a gazelle sprinting across the plains. And indeed, for decades, the Impala became the most popular car in America. Not as flashy as a Cadillac, not roaring rebelliously like a Mustang, yet the Impala captured hearts with its durability, spaciousness, friendliness, and above all, with the memories it carried with family, friends, and youth. Close your eyes and remember a summer afternoon in the 60s. The sky high and blue, golden sunlight stretching across the streets. A convertible Chevy Impala slowly rolling down the avenue. Its wide leather seats were so comfortable that the whole group of friends could squeeze in together, laughing endlessly. The radio blasting a Beach Boys song, or perhaps Elvis Presley singing, echoing, lively, making everyone sway to the rhythm. The road seemed endless, and youth seemed eternal. The Impala didn't speed like a Mustang, it moved leisurely, calmly, like the peaceful heartbeat of youth. It carried us through sunsets, through laughter echoing in the wind, through memories that, in retrospect, soften the heart. Perhaps the most cherished memories with the Impala are those evenings at the drive-in theater. Do you remember? A giant outdoor screen, rows of cars stretching endlessly, each vehicle becoming a private seat for each couple. And the Impala, with its spacious back seat, was always the perfect choice for first dates. The image is so familiar. Two young people sitting close, sharing a bag of popcorn, the light from the screen reflecting on their nervous, shy faces. The movie sounds played outside, but inside the car, what mattered was the shrinking distance, the first trembling hand touches, the awkward yet happy smiles. The Impala witnessed countless budding romances. It was the place for innocent promises. And sometimes, it was the witness to tears of farewell. Not just for youth, the Impala was deeply tied to every American family. It was the car Dad drove every morning to take Mom to the market, the kids to school. It was the car that carried the whole family on weekend picnics, trunk full of food, back seat echoing with children's laughter. On long trips, the Impala was a mobile home. Kids napped in the back, adults chatted animatedly up front, fields stretching endlessly outside the windows. For many, the Impala was the first car they ever drove after getting their license. It was also the car they learned to change oil, swap tires, wash under the summer sun. Every scratch on the body, every repair, became an unforgettable part of their memories. The Impala traveled with music. Music traveled with youth. No one can forget a few friends sitting on the back trunk of an Impala, guitar strumming, singing along to a popular folk or rock song. Their voices blended with the chirping insects, with the cool night breeze. No one can forget aimless road trips. No destination needed, just a full tank, a few coins in your pocket, and the Impala. That was enough for a night of adventure. The streets, the corners, the roadside diners, all bore the marks of the Impala's wheels. And in every moment, youth was lived fully, without calculation, without worry, only laughter and music. Then the years passed. The Impalas gradually aged. Some were sold, some gathered dust in garages, some disappeared over time. But the memories remained. Every time we spot a classic Impala rolling down today's streets, our hearts skip a beat. Because in that moment, we see ourselves again, the boy, the girl at 18 or 20, smiling brightly, eyes full of dreams. The Impala didn't just take us from place to place. It carried a part of our youth. It carried golden afternoons, moonlit nights, first crushes. And most importantly, it carried friendship, love, and the belief that youth would never fade. The Chevy Impala, not loud, not flashy. But precisely because of that, it quietly became a part of our very being, of our memories. It was not just a car, it was youth, love, a home on wheels. If the Ford Mustang symbolizes freedom and rebellion, if the Chevy Impala symbolizes youth, friendship, and family, then the Cadillac symbolizes the American dream, success, luxury, and a golden era that many long to reach. In the 50s and 60s, in everyday American language, when someone said, "This is the vacuum cleaner Cadillac," or "That's the electric guitar Cadillac," everyone understood Cadillac was the standard, the pinnacle, the best you could dream of. A Cadillac rolling down the street doesn't need to roar or prove anything. Its stately presence, gleaming grille, shiny chrome trims, and especially the proudly soaring tail fins are enough to turn every head. Cadillac is more than a car. It is a declaration. It says, "I have succeeded. I have reached the American dream." No one who lived through that era can forget the image of Cadillac tail fins. They were not just a design feature. They were a statement of the times. In the years after World War II, America was filled with optimism and belief. The sky was the limit. People looked up at rockets, jets, and Cadillac brought that spirit into every line of its design. The soaring tail fins, like spacecraft fins, like wings of freedom, were more than decoration. They spoke of ambition, of the desire to reach further, of the belief that tomorrow would always shine brighter than today. And on the boulevard, when a Cadillac with glowing tail fins passed by, it was like a reminder, this is America, where dreams can come true. For many fathers, a Cadillac was more than a car. It was a reward for a lifetime of work. Imagine, an autumn afternoon, a father drives a brand new Cadillac home. Neighbors buzz with curiosity, children run out to admire it. The father opens the door, sits behind the wheel, his eyes shining with pride. The Cadillac tells the world that he has worked hard, risen above difficulties, and achieved a position he once only dreamed of. And in that moment, the whole family feels like they are living the true American dream. For many couples, a Cadillac marked milestones. The day they moved into a new home. The day they drove their children to college. The day they sat together, reflecting on their journey, thinking, "We made it." Many remember Cadillac on the most important occasions of their lives. The Cadillac carried the bride to the altar, her white dress fluttering in the sunlight. The Cadillac transported the family at Christmas, trunk full of gifts, lights reflecting on the shiny paint. And sometimes, the black Cadillac carried a loved one for their final farewell. Cadillac appeared in every emotion, from joy to sorrow. And so, it became part of collective memory, deeply etched in the hearts of a generation. Cadillac also entered music. Rock and roll, blues, jazz songs, all mentioned Cadillac as a symbol. Elvis Presley owned dozens of Cadillacs, including the legendary pink Cadillac he gifted his mother. For Elvis, Cadillac was not just a vehicle, but a way to express love, generosity, and his remarkable success. When Cadillac appeared in lyrics, it was always linked with dreams, prosperity, the feeling of "I have reached the top." And for listeners, just imagining themselves behind the wheel of a Cadillac, they could see a piece of the American dream. Time passed, and Cadillac gradually changed. The legendary tail fins disappeared, designs became more practical. Cadillac was no longer the distant dream for everyone. But for the generation that lived through those golden years, Cadillac will always be a symbol of achievement and hope. Today, when seeing a classic Cadillac on the street, many pause and smile. They are not just admiring a car. They are witnessing an era, a time when they believed anything was possible. Cadillac reminds us of that belief. Of the exciting years when the nation looked forward and every family carried a dream in their hearts. Cadillac has never been just a machine of metal. It is a dream realized on four wheels. It is proof of effort, of achievement, of the pride of a generation. And for those who once sat behind the wheel of a Cadillac, that memory never fades. Because Cadillac doesn't just take you to your destination. It carries you into a special chapter of life, a chapter written with faith, luxury, and the glory of the American dream. Cadillac, not just a luxury car. It is a piece of America's heart. A symbol, a dream, and an everlasting memory. 3 names: Mustang, Impala, Cadillac. 3 symbols, 3 different souls, yet when we look back, they weave together an inseparable part of America's memory. The Mustang is like burning youth, like the roar of a heart longing for freedom. It is sunsets racing down the highway, wind hitting your face, the belief that nothing can stop legs that want to roam. Mustang is me, it is personality, it is a bold declaration, I want to live life my own way. The Impala brings a different rhythm. Unhurried, unobtrusive. It is summer afternoons filled with friends' laughter, shy hands touching for the first time at the drive-in, weekend picnics with the whole family gathered together. The Impala doesn't seek to show off. It silently carries us through the gentle, cherished years of youth. And Cadillac. Cadillac is the destination. It is the image of a father driving home a new car with pride. It is the pinnacle of an era that believed in the American dream, that anyone could succeed, that effort would be rewarded. Cadillac is luxury, brilliance, but above all, it is proof of a generation's faith in the future. 3 cars, 3 different spirits, yet if you close your eyes, you will see them blend into a complete symphony. The Mustang carries the pounding drums of youth. The Impala is the warm melody of friendship and love. The Cadillac is the triumphant anthem of success and dreams. And all 3 form the orchestration of American memories, of a golden age that those who lived through it will always carry in their hearts. Today, as we walk down the street and spot a classic Mustang, a gleaming Impala, or a Cadillac with proud tail fins, our hearts skip a beat. It is not just seeing a car. It is seeing a piece of our own life. We remember the first time holding a loved one's hand in an Impala. We remember the wild, reckless nights racing with a Mustang. We remember the proud gaze of a father driving a Cadillac home for the first time. These cars have taken us along life's most beautiful roads. And more than half a century later, they still take us back in time, to youth, to hope, to dreams that once burned brightly. Ford Mustang, Chevy Impala, Cadillac. 3 cars, 3 symbols, yet for each of us, they are more than cars. They are a part of youth, family, dreams, and America in our hearts. And when we tell our children and grandchildren, when we look into the curious eyes of the next generation, we smile and whisper. They are not just cars, they are an entire era. An era we were fortunate to live and love fully.